Honorable Doye Dri.
Sani Abdu. I represent the good people of Al-Kalerikir Federal Constituency. I stand here before you, Mr. Speaker, and my honorable colleagues to move for the second reading of a bill for an act to improve the efficacy of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, provide detailed measures and principles for speedy development of small and medium-scale enterprises, and comprehensively define the responsibilities of each stakeholder for their maximum contribution to national economic development, employment generation, and poverty eradication in Nigeria, and for other related matters. HB 17.0S10S9. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, this bill is essentially an addendum bill to the SMEDAN Establishment Act of 2003, number 16, and number 12 of 2004, Law of the Federation of Nigeria. Part 8 of the Act of the 2003-2004 only define functions and responsibilities of SMEDAN in broad terms, and there are many of them. Now, Mr. Speaker, what this bill seeks to is to close in the gap by trying to improve on the efficacy of the agency, that is SMEDAN, and provide detailed measures and principles for speedy development of small and medium enterprises, and also define responsibilities of each stakeholder for maximum contribution to national economic development and goals, employment generation, poverty eradication in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, the bill actually tries now to see a movement. When SMEDAN was established in 2003, we were handling SMEs, small and medium enterprises. And now with the collapse of People's Bank, community banks into micro banks, and the new paradigm shift in looking at small businesses in terms of micro, small and medium enterprises, it becomes essential that those fundamental aspects of the Act are expounded and well defined in greater detail, so that each stakeholder will find what to do. It will also assist us in legislating for strong economy at the grass level, and it will also bring interagency relationships. So, 3 months ago, the federal government had made a proclamation that it will inject within the next 2 years, that means from the time, the sum of $130 million into the micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. So, SMEDAN is constituted now, and as the Act stands now, presuppose that it needs to expand its operation. It needs to go further into details. It needs to collaborate with other agencies. And here, the essence of the central role of the Central Bank of Nigeria becomes very pertinent, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, this bill presents us with another opportunity to stimulate the economy of Nigeria to come out strongly from the recession and improve the efficacy of the Small and Medium Enterprises Agency and the sector as a whole. It also provides us with the opportunity to strengthen the institutions responsible for enhancing SMEs sector as a resilient engine of growth and diversification of the Nigerian economy through detailed strong and thorough legislation. So if we legislate properly, I believe we will add value to government thrust policy of diversifying our economy and creating employment and ridding us at least of absolute poverty. So over the years, the performance of the agency has not been impactful, owing to numerous challenges facing the agency. Some of the challenges as identified include inadequate funding, lack of capacity development and technical know-how on how to build and develop business and access to information. And this is the essence and the thrust of this particular bill. It tends to open up these fundamental areas such that other stakeholders will play their own role. To this effect, Mr. Speaker, the bill is organized in such a way that it will give continuous growth to the economy of the nation. It will also help make possible equitable distribution of national income and more realistic providing employment opportunities. It will also help us to ascertain distinct services that in most cases cannot be matched by bigger businesses. That means it will fill in the interstitial spaces of businesses and wealth creation. To this, Mr. Speaker, in particular, I want to reiterate Section 6, whereby the role of the central bank is very, very pertinent, and also the issue of Section 4 and Section 6. Section 6 of the bill, 4 of the bill says that the central bank shall, through small and medium enterprises equity investment scheme, which is under it, Bank of Industry and Bank of Agriculture, design policies, practices that will ensure easy, timely, and smooth access to loan and financial assistance by the MSMEs to enhance their competitiveness, and also establish policies and regulations that will encourage microfinance institutions and other commercial banks to engage in risk lending to MSMEs for speedy development of enterprises in both. This was totally absent in the original bill. Similarly, in terms of capacity development, Mr. Speaker, it goes on to say, in order to provide sufficient manpower, the MSMEs, the government shall improve the capacity of the technical colleges, polytechnics, monotechnics, vocational training centers, labor training and short tests conducted by labor ministries to enhance capacity development nationwide and bottom up. So these are some of the essential parts. It also goes to define what is micro enterprise, what is medium enterprise, what is small enterprise, and so on. So these are the essential details that this addendum bill is trying to assist Part 8 of the existing act to open up for players. For example, sir, we are now tilting towards agriculture. We are now opening up solid minerals development. We are also going into building materials production. We are going into manufacture. So these small enterprises, just like the cottage industries of Japan, like the backyard industries of England, like the rural industries of Germany in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, help their major industries to develop a value chain. That is what we are trying to inculcate in this bill, and I therefore seek the attention, assistance, collaboration, and endorsement of this hallowed chamber and honorable colleagues to support this bill, to go for second reading, so that a detailed work will be done to look into the old act and merge it up with this, so that we will open up legislatively contributing our quota towards the development of non-oil sector, improving GDP, generating employment, and getting away most of our ills that is causing a lot of class difference and class agitation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I seek for the assistance of this House. Thank you to support this to go for second reading.
Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerks invite.
Prove the efficacy of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria to provide detailed measures and principles for speedy development of small and medium-scale enterprises and comprehensively define the responsibilities of each stakeholder for their maximum contribution to national economic development, employment generation, and poverty eradication in Nigeria, and for related matters. Second reading.